Hi everyone, I'm Mersaya Hughes. I'm this year's Shawnigan Journey Prefect. I'm a grade 12 in Strathcona.
Hello, my name is Paul Doig. I am the Director of Futures here at Shawnigan Lake School, and I have been at this school for 12 years.
Hi everyone, I'm Alexei du Bois. I was the Heimbecker Chair for Experiential Education, and I'm here to interview both Mersaya and Paul all about the Shawnigan Journey. And so I'll start off with you, Mersaya. I'd love to hear what you think the Shawnigan Journey is.
Yeah, so this now being my 4th year at Shawnigan, the Shawnigan Journey has meant something really special to me. So when it first came out 3 years ago, I was quite excited about it, and I knew that was one of the roles I wanted to apply for in grade 10 when it was first introduced. So throughout the Shawnigan Journey, I find it's a way for students to interact with each other and really experience new things around the school, whether it's trying out a new sport or a new 360 like the musical or even service clubs, stuff like that, and just really experiencing it as a whole. You know, I had never played field hockey at my time before I came to Shawnigan, and in grade 9 when I first met my assistant house director, Mrs. Conroy, she looked at me and the first thing she said was, "You're playing field hockey," and I had no clue what to expect, and it was probably one of the most amazing things I've ever tried, and I love it to this day, and it even makes me sad when I know the season's coming to an end. So I think the Shawnigan Journey is really about trying new things and really getting out there and making sure your experience here for your time is pretty special.
Incredible. And Paul, that's such a rich way of going through school. Given your 12 years of experience at Shawnigan, is there something Mersaya has left out that you would say about the Shawnigan Journey, particularly given your role here?
Yeah, and I think what Mersaya says and understanding where the kids enter in, whether it be through grade 8, grade 9, grade 10, grade 11, or even in 12, they all go through their unique Shawnigan journey. We have kids who come right in September in their grade 12 year, but they go through all the various stages of nurture and discovering and choosing and leading and inspiring, even within a 10-month period, whereas we really cultivate and curate that experience for our kids who've been for 5 years and understanding what that looks like. And seeing Mersaya in the final weeks of her field hockey season, for example, and just seeing the impact of that, you know, being on the pitch with her as a coach and understanding what that looks like as she's leading and seeing that growth in her own development as an athlete from a ball player to now, you know, doing another stick and ball. It's pretty amazing. But I think what I really like to see and understanding, and Mersaya's in these last, 6-7 months of school is the thriving that the Shawnigan Journey prepares our kids to do once you leave, and understanding what that thriving looks like. It could be to university or to a college or to a post-secondary gap year, or whatever it might be. The journey itself is all tailored so that our graduates can thrive in their future.
Fantastic. And Mersaya, you spoke about field hockey being one of those fundamental things that you did that you loved. Were there any other key experiences in the Shawnigan Journey that you want to reflect on?
Yeah, I really think the Shawnigan Journey is really about, like I said, trying new things. And even if you don't get the position you wanted or get the opportunity that you hoped for, it's still all about trying a new thing. So in grade 9, when I did the musical, I was given the opportunity of being in ensemble with all my friends, and it was probably one of the most amazing experiences, and just enjoying being on stage and being a dancer for 11 years before I came to Shawnigan. It was nice to really get back into something similar like musical theater and expressing my emotions on a dance stage in front of everyone around me. But not only that, I think another thing was trying out new 360s, so jumping from the musical and then going into grassroots and using my leadership skills there by nurturing young students and young teachers' kids and just peers around our community, just really nurturing them and helping them wanting to try new sports, whether it was rugby, which I've never tried before. So in grade 9, I also was able to try rugby, so that was also very fun. But really just being able to help some students out, really getting them to find their passion before they get older.
Amazing. Well done for dealing with the teachers' kids.
Yeah.
My own kids were there. And Paul, with your futures hat on, what is a key experience of the Shawnigan Journey that you think kind of every student, or at least some students, should have an opportunity to take hold of?
And I think the key experience, as Mersaya has said, is that the choice and the opportunities and the variety of experiences is what every student should experience. Is, obviously we have some kids who are really passionate about some certain things, and we would love to see them delve deeply into those experiences as well. But truly, as it's reflected here in Mersaya's journey, is like, holy, all the different experiences that are at their fingertips, and being able to, you know what, I can try musical theater, or I can try fly tying. But not only in our after-school programming, but truly in our academic programming as well, is that, you know, we have a huge plethora and array and of courses that the kids can really experience and understand what that means to their academic passion. And so I think that under the umbrella of the entire campus, all that is offered to them through sport, through 360 activities, but also through their academic pursuits, it's really a variety of breadth, and then they can actually get deep into it as they get more and more into their years here at Shawnigan.
Wow, incredible. Now, Mersaya, if I was going to say to you, why even have this kind of concept of a Shawnigan journey when there are lots of Canadian independent schools out there doing all kinds of things? You know, what's so special about having the Shawnigan journey?
Yeah. So I'm going to include this in with the boarding houses. I think interhouse is a really special thing that we can connect to. I know having friends that go to Brentwood and they have similar things like this, I think Shawnigan really just has a really special touch to interhouse, especially dressing up in your house color and then participating in events. And it's not only just the athletic events, it's also the last year when we had interhouse puzzling and interhouse esports. It just interhouse is a really good thing for everyone. You really can connect with everyone. Even if you're not a super keen person with athletics and stuff, you can just be there to support your houses. And I think it's something really special that we have to offer, especially when it comes to your last couple months in grade 12 and experiencing, you know, your last interhouse and then coming on and it being your last volleyball or your last track and field, stuff like that. It's really special to support, you know, your house and build a strong connection with everyone. And I think that's something that the Shawnigan journey really touches on, but isn't super noticed. So I think it's a really good thing to have at Shawnigan, and really something that it gets a little underlooked, and people can, when they come to Shawnigan, they can really look at it and be like, wow, this is really cool.
Wow, that's amazing. And if I think about what Mersaya was saying about interhouse, Paul, do you think there's anything else that's kind of a compelling reason to have this particular framework or this way of seeing education? What do you think is kind of a really important motivator for having something like the Shawnigan journey?
Yeah, and what sets us apart, I think, from other schools, you know, not only within British Columbia or on Vancouver Island or even within the Cowichan Valley, and internationally as well, I think our superpower here around the journey is just our, as Mersaya is talking about, connection, but I think our superpower at the school is that feeling of belonging. And you may say, well, other schools, you know, you feel connected. It's like, but we're supercharged on that, and the kids are here 24/7. They understand that the staff truly are invested wholly and engaged, you know, throughout their day-to-day, every day, you know, about the well-being and making sure that every kid belongs. And so what does this journey do? It makes sure that we are constantly reinforcing the understanding of connection through nurturing, through discovery in the grade 9, and the kids now then have choice in grade 10, and we're always connecting with them in different facets of their age. You know, as a 15-year-old in grade 10, being able to see what choices lay ahead in their 11 and 12 years. And so I think that Shawnigan, you know, and has this incredible aura of belonging that is linked innately and inherently in the journey itself. And I think that in an age where we're getting into a future where, you know, there's artificial intelligence coming in and how that might change education, I think we still need to grasp onto and link and into and leverage the superpower of belonging.
Fantastic. I've got a question for you now, Paul.
Sure.
You've got deep roots in the Shawnigan community, both at school but also locally.
Yes,
and so I'm sure people ask you all the time, you know, what's your advice about going to high school, choosing a school for their child? So if you had a prospective family in front of you and you were talking to their son or their daughter, what advice would you give them about the Shawnigan journey? What kind of experience or way of being at Shawnigan would you say they should take hold of?
Yeah, and whenever I do see prospective families, and Mersaya and her brother Marcus were once at that point in time too, and understanding that their family invested 2 kids to come through this school, and I would assume that Mersaya saw Marcus going through there and started salivating and wanting to come into this. But I think what it is really leveraging their strengths, and so it always reflected back into the family and understand, well, what is it that really drives your passion? Because at Shawnigan, we have the facilities, we have the programming, but more so we have the people around to help grow that passion, to be able to allow them to try new things. And so when I sit with a new prospective family, I always get quite excited to understand what drives their engagement and what motivates them in their own learning. And I really focus in on their curiosity. So when we're interviewing new students and admissions is bringing kids in, it's always my understanding to see what makes you curious, and this is the place to be curious. You have 24/7 hours here. You're not just in class for all day. You're in class for 6 to 7 hours a day, but then we got this rest of the day to really embellish their curiosity. And what is it that you want to look into? Because we can help facilitate that in many different ways, and the people here are all beyond curious and beyond passionate to make that happen for our kids.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Mersaya, whether or not it's about the Shawnigan Journey, what would you say to a prospective student?
Yeah, I think I've done a lot of tours at my time at Shawnigan after becoming a senior, so you always get the questions from the parents, like, what do you most love about Shawnigan and stuff. I always go back to do it all, because now being in grade 12 and this being my last couple months, it's really, I still look back on it and I'm like, oh, I wish I did this. I wish I did this. You can always wish you did something, but at the end of the day, once the time has passed, you can't go back and you can't retrace those steps. So when a new student, I was touring a new student last year who is coming into being a grade 8 who actually plays on the field hockey team. Her parents, I think my tour was almost longer than 2 hours because how many questions that family asked about the Shawnigan Journey and what to do. And I said, the only thing I kept saying was do it all. Just do it all, take it all in, really get the aspect of what the Shawnigan Journey has to give you and really try new things. You know what, even if you don't get the position you wanted, you don't get the outcome you hoped for, you don't make a sports team, you don't get a good grade on your math test, it's all about trying new things, and there's always going to be people to support you at school, which is the most special thing about it. Whether it's a teacher who can help you with academics, a coach who can help you with your sport, or even just someone in the house who can really help you, make you feel at home when you're not feeling a little homesick. It's all about taking it in and finding those people who can help you with that.
Wow, fantastic. I think you probably make Mr. Doig and I want to come back to school. So what's next for the Shawnigan Journey for you? You're in grade 12, you're the Shawnigan Journey Prefect. What have you got planned for the next few months? Yeah,
so I've had a couple council meetings with my group of special students that I've decided to choose this year. My goal, like I mentioned at the start of our podcast, I was a dancer for 10, 11 years before I came to Shawnigan, and when I came to Shawnigan, that was one thing I never wanted to give up. But our dance program wasn't as strong as it is now. And I think really talking to the younger students, like the grade 8s and grade 9s that are in my council, and really trying to build something special for them so they can have it through the next couple years at Shawnigan. Because now coming into my grade 12 year and not having done dance for a while and now the program's getting built, it makes me excited for the new students and new grade 8s that are in Samuel really experiencing that kind of stuff that they can now really grasp onto and really enjoy. So I think really connecting with my peers and students around campus to build programs and really, even if they wanted to start something new or develop something new, really be a leader and someone that they can talk to reach out to those goals.
Incredible. Mr. Doig, what is next in the Shawnigan Journey for you?
Yeah, I mean, understanding what Mersaya is doing as our prefect and understanding that legacy that she is leaving. Obviously she might not see the dance program, for example, come to fruition to the level at which she would want, but that's the legacy that she's leaving and helping to leave a really neat growth for our students. So for me as the Director of Futures, making sure that our grade 12s are inspiring our younger kids and developing a future for which maybe there were things that they wish that were here at school. And so developing programs that will help, build the capacity of what is at stake and what our kids and our families want, and being able to be flexible for that. From an academic standpoint, we're also understanding truly what it looks like within the context of education as artificial intelligence comes in, for example. As I said earlier, AI is going to be, it's an arrival technology. It's here. We are going to be needing to interact with it and educate and learn, while at the same time, being able to really value the human effort and understanding what, as a community, how the human aspect of learning is still at the very, very core of it. There's going to be tools and amazing things that are happening, maybe even the way in which classrooms look. And so we are really focusing in on understanding what does the next 3 to 5 years look like, but what does 10 years look like in this school? I mean, how does interdisciplinary learning and the multifaceted approach to learning in an age when knowledge is so readily available, but we're going to have to still maintain a human connection to teach life skills, to teach critical thinking, to understand what it looks like, and understand what the legacy that our alumni have left, to engage in that and really promote that so our kids continue to thrive.
Fantastic. So just one final question from me for you, Paul.
Yeah.
And it's almost like it's a follow-up on what you've been talking about. How does the Shawnigan Journey help Shawnigan respond to some of these concerns, to artificial intelligence, to the climate crisis, to socio-political tensions? How does the Shawnigan Journey position our students, our staff, our alumni in a way that helps them respond to these really complex problems?
Yeah, it's an interesting time. I mean, we live in a time of a lot of possibilities, to be honest with you, because of the whole geopolitical, the whole understanding around sustainability, and leading into a really interesting technology wave that's coming through. And some people might be daunted by that, but most of the discussion that we had just this past week at our conference on sustainability were about the possibilities, and it's a pretty rich time to be alive, even though it might be a bit daunting. And the generation for which Mersaya is leading, and understanding that there are programs and structures and systems that need to be rebuilt. And so we look at our system of the Shawnigan Journey, and by design, making that as flexible and adaptable as possible, so that at every stage of the journey that our kids are at, we are able to pivot as need be, introduce new programming, understand what staffing needs to look like, understand what our kids and our alumni are feeding back into the system that we've developed, and how we can pivot and manage that as well. And I think as we evolve as a school, we always have to be looking into the system in which we've created, such that it is mimicking and leading and looking forward to the potential possibilities that our kids will need to address when they leave the gates.
Fantastic. And Mersaya, Shawnigan's pretty committed to student voice, so you get the last question in this podcast. When you think about the real kind of complex pressures that young people face, whether it's from social media and technology use, or just trying to navigate what you want in the world, how does the Shawnigan Journey help set you up for that? How do the experiences you've undergone at Shawnigan help prepare you for the unknown, and also all the pressures you face in your day-to-day life?
Yeah, so going back to opportunities that you can get at the school, I think really taking those opportunities not just with a grain of salt or as a title, but really using those opportunities in leadership ways, and taking the responsibility and the maturity that Shawnigan gives you with those leadership opportunities. Especially, let's just say, unless you're in grade 8, you're always going to be older than somebody at the school. Whether you're grade 9, grade 10, 11, 12, you're always going to be someone. You can either look up to someone, or people can look up to you. And it's the way that you address those problems with the maturity that you get from Shawnigan. So being a leader in the school, getting leadership opportunities on roundtable, things like that can really lead you to success. And it's the way that you react to those situations. So be accountable for your mistakes that you get. Really be apologetic. Understand that what you did was, either if it was wrong, or even if you're just there to support another student, always be there and use the maturity you take from all aspects of Shawnigan within those opportunities.
Fantastic. Well, Mersaya, Paul, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was lovely spending this time with you and hearing more about the Shawnigan Journey.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you very
so
much.
Thanks, Mersaya.
Thank you.